what a day for hot rodding in the hills of SoCal. Hi, I'm Dennis Gage. Well, this week we're in the hills above Temecula, California at Chuck DeHarris's place, which he refers to as Horsepower Farm. And if you could see what's in some of these buildings back here, I think you'd understand why. But today, we're gonna focus on a couple of his old school hot rods, because I just think they're really cool. And if you take a close look at them, I think you'll agree. Well, Chuck, you got some nice cars, but
Thank you.
This baby here sort of caught my eye. I love this old school look. And you know, the four doors, not a lot of people do the four doors.
No, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Everybody's got a three-window four door, so nobody had done a four door, and we started this one.
It really stands out. I mean, it stands apart because it's just, you know, they aren't around as much. And this is another one of these that, you know, kind of all the gods of old hot rodding had a hand in someplace, didn't they? A lot of them did anyway.
We got the body from Don Orozco up in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And brought it down, and Kennedy boys chopped it 3.5 inches. And I had a chassis at the time, a Pete Eastwood chassis, been sitting around for a long time, so he took it up to Bob Bowder.
You just had one, you just had a chassis.
Just had a chassis. He enhanced it a little bit, and we put a 60 Corvette fuel-injected motor with a 4-speed in it, a 9-inch Ford rear end. And original motor, there's no chrome or nothing that didn't come out of the factory. All the nuts and bolts are just like it came from the factory. And took the interior out, as a matter of fact, and took the old interior over to a guy and said, just duplicate this with new fabric. So that's a 32 seats, 32 design. And
well, you know, I mean, and what an interesting approach. And what you came out with, I think, is just a great looking period car.
Yeah, and it's fun to drive, and it didn't cost a lot of money. It's basically old hot rod stuff, you know.
Well, that's quite a who's who list too.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. Well, we all grew up together out here in Southern California, so
that's sort of where it all began, kind of. Well, how about the color? I mean, this is interesting too. You're thinking red, black, you know, something funny.
Well, this is a Volkswagen chocolate brown, and it came off of Jake's Model A panel truck he did years ago. And he used this brown with a black frame, so kind of the old theme. And then we wanted a little art on it, so we had little Louie do the Lady Luck. I said, hey, I want a modern version of the Lady Luck they did in the 50s.
And that's all a takeoff on the World War II airplane nose art,
yeah,
basically,
kind of the nose art.
I like the front end too. I mean, is that...
It's pretty basic hot rod.
You've got the big Buick brakes.
Yeah, Buick fin aluminum brakes, Pete and Jake dropped axle, the hairpins, put a sway bar in it, anti-damper, just so it runs and drives really nice. Particularly with the biased tires, we get a lot of...
Really got that feel of the road, don't you? Well, you know, I really do like it. And the brown with the orange striping, I think it really, it does, it makes it. And the fact that you went with a pretty conventional looking interior, you know...
Well, it's stock 32 interior.
I love it.
And the gauges are 49 Mercury gauges. And we had them redone. It was a dash I pulled out of the trash bin at Pete Eastwood's house. It was all in junk, so we fixed it up. And Bob Bowder put a lot of that stuff together for us. So made the shift handle and the mount for the tack. You know, did all that old time hot rod theme to it.
Yeah. Now, what's in your shift handle? What's the creature in there? Is that a...
it was just something we had in the junk pile, so I'm not sure what it is. You know?
It looks good.
We hoard everything. So.
and I like your accelerator pedal too. That's, you know.
Yeah. So we just kind of basic. No radio, no air conditioning, you know, just a lot of room and a good driver. And
but you even left the straps
here. Got the straps, got the shade on the back window.
Oh man, it's so nice that you didn't change this, you know, this 32 look.
The stock seats, got a lot of leg room. Just kick back and go.
Yeah, man, that is definitely the way to go. And then back to
the stock 32 gas tank. Jake did the tail lights. Nothing really fancy on it, just a basic car.
Yeah, but you know, I think that's part of what makes it stand out.
Yeah,
you know, it's so subtle in a lot of ways. It's really a subtle looking car. How much of a chop did you say?
I think it's 3.5 inches.
And you went kind of a big littles
using the biased tires. Yeah, we try to fit the tires into the wheel opening a little bit.
Now let's have a look at that engine. You say that's a Corvette.
It's a 1960 Corvette fuel injected motor.
With the original fuel injector on it?
It's got the original fuel injector. We kept all the shields for the wiring that they used to keep the radio static on the fiberglass cars, because they don't have any shielding. Just went through the motor, so it's just basically a slightly bored out 283.
And now that's an original fuel injection system too, right?
It's all original. There's no chrome. There's nothing beyond what the factory did on it.
Now how tough is that to keep set up?
Well, once you got it set up, it's not too bad, but it took a little time getting it. So it's pretty good. I think if you went up in the mountains, you might have a little trouble.
Because it's set for like right here,
Yeah, right here. There's no electronic brain in there, you know. So it's got a lot of driving on it. All the bugs are worked out, so
Yeah.
you know, you don't feel like driving.
And like with
4 or 5 hours.
pretty much all your cars, I mean, you take these out and you ride them around. I mean,
If you can't drive them, they're not worth having, right?
What's the point?
Yeah, I don't want to look at them. I want to drive them and have some fun.
Well, I just soon drive them and have some fun too. Can we take it out?
We're going to take it out, yeah.
Could I even drive?
You drive it.
All right. Well, I'm just happen to be right here by the door, so.
All right, let's go.
All
Let's
right.
go do it.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
The long throw.
Well, there's a little bit of romance in these 4-speeds, you know, and driving them. You know, it was a lot of fun and put some driving back into it. So it's part of the charisma of the car.
Well, the engine is really smooth though, and you know, for a hot rod, you got this muffled down. It's just real civilized
That's
sounding.
the third exhaust system to get it there.
A little bit of a
Keep
trial and error.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So you've been a car guy, a hot rodder all your life?
Pretty much. You know, you take a few years off because of work and family and stuff,
Kids,
but
yeah.
still always got 1 or 2 cars floating around. But the last 15, 16 years, you know, really got into it.
And do you see yourself more as a modified guy? Are you a hot rodder?
I'm a hot rodder, and I've tried the historical things. I've had a few cars, but I'm not good at maintaining somebody else's legacy.
Uh-huh.
You know, I want to modify it and tweak it. And,
You want to maintain your own legacy.
yeah. And I like American cars. You know, Southern California, we weren't all more Eastern guys were sports car oriented, I think.
Uh-huh.
You know, we were more hot rod oriented out here, so we kind of grew up with that and just kind of stayed with you. And over the years, you develop all these fantasy ideas about how you can dream and build these cars in your mind. You know, I'm just lucky that I got an opportunity to do it.
Are you one of these folks that just kind of keeps buying them but never sells them? They just,
I'm not real good at selling them. I've
Yeah.
sold a few, but
it's traumatic, isn't
yeah,
it?
most of them you work on and they become part of you, and I just like them, you know. Enjoyable to go out and look and to drive and to keep working on.
Boy, I love this car. This is nice. Well, that was pretty cool. But this is a bit of a different theme, isn't it?
A little bit different, yeah. It's not chopped.
It's not. It's definitely not chopped. Well, now what's the story on this? Because an extended cab. People are doing them now, but
Yeah.
this is one of the earlier
This
ones.
is
isn't it?
probably the first one done, and I did it. I've always liked these pickups, but I couldn't fit in one.
Uh-huh.
So we found this body in Don Thielen's trash pile about 15 years ago.
Well, you're good at that stuff, aren't you?
Yeah. To extend it, we didn't know quite how to do it. So what we did is we bought an extra set of doors,
Okay.
took it over to Steve Davis, and then he sandwiched the doors down. But we had to reverse chop it because this top angle's up, so we had to raise the top up. So we actually put about 10 inches in the back of it, give me a little
really?
more leg room.
And so, and
And to
that
fit
gives
the
us that
angle at the top, because you can see as the door goes up.
Yeah.
So what we had to do was to slice it and reverse chop it and put a piece in it and raise it up, elevate it. This is actually one of the first cars to come out of SoCal Speed Shop. It was started before Pete Japoris had SoCal.
Wow, really?
So
wow.
and Jake was there and Eastwood and these guys. So we built a whole new chassis right from the ground up. 57 Buick nail head motor. 3 2s, but pretty much basically stock. 350 automatic turbo trans and a quick change rear end in it, because you got a pickup that's all showing. You got to have a quick change hanging out the back with a Model A spring.
Well, of course.
But the extending it got a little tricky. We had to extend these running boards, and so
Yeah.
we had to zigzag cut and weld it in between there. And John Carambia and Tim Baird did all that work on it.
What a nice job on that. And so you took another set of running boards and basically grafted them in,
Yeah,
basically.
2 sets of running boards, yeah.
Holy
and
cow.
Buick Skylark wire wheels. We took the chrome off, painted them.
Wait a minute, are you kidding me?
Buick.
53 Buick Skylark wheels?
yeah.
Whoa. Not everybody would do that, you know?
Yeah, we just sandblasted them and painted a Tacoma cream, a Ford color.
Man, I never would have guessed that. That's really cool.
And it kept the theme. You know, we got again the fin aluminum brake drums on the front.
Yeah.
And you were asking about the color earlier, so
Yeah, what is that?
well, the color, we couldn't decide, and I was with Pete Japoris one day, and I had a shirt on this color, and he said, "Give me your shirt." I said, "Hey, what are you, crazy?" He said, "No, I'm taking it to the paint store." So that's where we came and followed the black fenders because the Fords had black fenders back there. They kept it a little bit original. Doug Card, we had him do all this exotic woodwork inside, build a whole headliner like a Woody.
Just in general, this interior is fabulous, I think. And who did
Tony
it?
Nancy did the interior, and that was a challenge. You know, he's an old-time racer, hot rodder, and he got mad and wasn't doing any hot rods for years, and we pleaded and begged and took him to lunch and did everything we did. Finally, he says, "Okay, if you bring the truck here, leave me alone, I'll do your interior." So this is what he came up with, and it's
Unfortunately, you like it.
Oh yeah, well, you can't complain with his work because I mean it's just part of history, and he's not with us anymore. The dash is kind of unique because we didn't know what to do. We were playing around, and Pete Eastwood says, "Hey, I got an idea. Come back tomorrow." Well, he took a hunk of aluminum and with a hacksaw cut this out and filed it all down, and made that outer bezel by hand.
And how about the rays that radiate from the speedometer? I mean, how'd you...
Those, Pete Japoris found somebody that could etch those in. Wow. So he wanted to get away from all the machine turn stuff and do something a little bit different.
I love the rays.
Then we found a guy in Kansas City who took all the gauges and put this basket weave design on it.
Where did that speedometer come out? That's a big speedometer.
That's a swap meet item, and it's one that the Highway Patrol, they used to mount it on their steering column to track people with. They'd clock you, and it had a button on the side.
Yeah.
They got you at 80, then they'd hit the button, and so when he pulled you over, he said, "Well, come look at the speedometer. You were doing 80." So we took it, refaced it, and reworked it a little bit, and we wanted something large, and it fit in real nice.
Man, I love that. There's a lot going on there.
Even the knobs are the first ones that SoCal did, which became a standard product with them. These were the prototype, and now there's so many cars that have these on it. And then J.B. Donaldson in Phoenix made the steering wheel for us.
Yeah, it's a killer wheel. That is nice. That's a fat wheel. That's like a modern day fat wheel.
Well, it kind of fits the truck. We got a little carried away with the wood.
Yeah, I would say.
And around the back it's mahogany and maple, and got the magazine stand.
The wood in the bed and everything's beautiful.
Yeah, all stock, pretty much the size and everything. So Doug Carr did the woodwork.
What a great looking little truck.
Yeah, it is really a nice truck. Now, it's an hour and a half driver. After an hour and a half, my legs get cramped because I don't have room. But up till then, it's great.
It's great up to that point. And now, let's have a look at the engine. It's a nailhead, right?
It's a Buick nailhead, 57 Buick nailhead.
Oh, yeah. Of course, the nailhead, you've got these straight up and down valve covers. And this whole thing is sort of
the motor went with the contour of the body. You know, it was all parallel up and down, straight up and down, and the Buick was perfect for it.
Kind of that's part of the theme that went through this.
Part of the theme, follow the theme all the way through.
With that engine, though, it's perfect for this. And it's such a cool looking engine
Yeah,
anyway.
they are. They were really great.
And I love the headers. I mean, that's art.
Yeah. Ron Saxton did these headers for us. Buicks have real small exhaust normally, they just come straight down. So I said, hey, let's spaghetti them around a little bit and not get too carried away.
It just all comes together so well. And I'm glad you were wearing that shirt that day, because that's a good color.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, let's take this one for a spin
Let's
too.
do it. Okay.
All right. Much throatier engine, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Well, those big Buicks are a lot bigger than a little Corvette, so. And then you don't need a lot in these motors. You know, a little bit of a cam and just clean them up. These cars, you got to realize, will probably never go over 70 miles an hour in them. You know, they'll probably have 10,000 miles in their lifetime, maybe. So you don't have to build an all-out race motor.
In fact, under that scenario, you don't want an all-out race motor.
No. I want them to drive. I want them mild. I want a mild cam. I want to be able just to go, not worry about them.
And this one has been on the road quite a lot.
Yeah, we've had it also in the Bay Area 2 or 3 times.
See, you said, yeah, it's got a few battle scars. There's a little chip in the windshield, but you should have that, right?
Yeah, you need that.
So much work went into this the extension of this
Oh,
truck is just amazing.
you couldn't do it today. You couldn't get the people together, but the quality and the thing that went in would be almost impossible to try to duplicate it today.
How tough is it to bring all of these guys together on a project like this?
Well, they're not all working in the same building, so you're transporting back and
Yeah.
forth. They all communicate pretty well, so it's just correlation. You got to be the contractor. And the fun thing is when you can get these people together and they get excited about your project. It's just not a job. No, I want to be involved in that. I want to work on that. I really like what you're doing.
So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics. I'm Dennis Gage. Happy motoring.
Hi.